grammarian will be Mark DeVoe, so he'll be the one keeping track of all the things we do right and wrong. Our general evaluator who will be leading our evaluation team is Justin Gish, and so when we get to that point, to the evaluation point of the discussion, he'll take over. But we're going to move right into our agenda. We're going to have two speakers tonight. I'm looking forward to both of the topics. They looked very exciting and informative from my perspective, at least, when I was reading about them online last night. Our first speaker is Lawrence Crompton. He will be talking about high performance leadership from the Sharing Your Vision speech in the High Performance Leadership Manual.
Lawrence, if you can hold on for just a minute, I think it's important to say that the word of the day is tepid. So I know you are not going to give a tepid speech or a lukewarm speech.
Okay, thank you. That thing doesn't get louder?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Okay. So the word of the day is
Tepid.
tepid. Tepid, tepid. What did you say was the meaning of tepid again, Mr. Grammarian?
Oh,
I think he muted you.
sorry.
That's not louder. Is moderately warm or lukewarm? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's characterized by a lack of force or enthusiasm. So as I was saying, Lawrence will not be given a tepid speech tonight. We will see enthusiasm.
Very good.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Grammarian. I need your help. I need your help to become a distinguished Toastmaster. We need your help. We need you to become a part of an exciting, dynamic team of Toastmasters, old and new, that will help your community, Toastmasters International, your club, and not least of all, yourself. My fellow Toastmasters, together we can do great things. Toastmasters Creed is based on leadership and communication. As we know, communication is the heart of leadership. But there is so much more. So, to be an effective leader, you have to be able to communicate, but you also have to be able to create a vision. You have to create a plan of action. You have to build and support a team and then work together to create your vision into the world of reality. This is the purpose of our leadership track in Toastmasters. To go through and learn how to create a team, how to create a vision, how to make things happen. Now, as many of you may know, a distinguished Toastmaster is the highest rank of any Toastmaster. In order to become a distinguished Toastmaster, you must complete the communication track. You must complete the leadership track, and you must perform a high-performance leadership project. To fulfill my distinguished Toastmaster rank, I had to come up with a high-performance leadership project. Now, the first step is I had to pick out a team. I decided to start off with a very small team. Just myself and two others. One, a is an entrepreneur, a business leader, starting his own business and running it successfully. The other, a college student starting out on the path to her life of success. I figured by bringing these two together, I could share the experiences of both. One, the business person who has the wisdom and the determination to create a successful business. The other one, young, not quite exactly ready to go into the world, but developing that skill with fresh, untried inspirations. And together, the three of us could work and create a vision. We created a vision, and we were planning on doing a speech craft. Now, some of you may know what a speech craft is. A speech craft is a program for non-Toastmasters where they can come for a multi-week project that's going to give them the opportunity to learn about communication, learn about leadership, very similar to the creative or to the competent communicator manual over this multi-week period. And then, once they have fulfilled that, at the end of the program, they will have already, if they decide to join Toastmasters, completed a couple, 2 or 3, of their competent communication speeches. Now, the vision for this program is to have 10 students. We wanted to have 10 students so that each student would be able to have the opportunity to get the individual attention and to be able to give numerous speeches to develop the most experience that they can get from this project. We hope we can inspire these members to join Toastmasters and increase their ability to bring that experience to our community. We also hope to inspire some of the current members, old or new, to join in as mentors in this project. We would like to have the one mentor for each student. Now, I understand that this club alone may not be able to do that. So we have decided that we're going to also reach out to other Toastmasters clubs in the community and see if we can bring numerous people together for this Speechcraft program. Once again, so that each student can have one mentor they can work one-on-one. This, we think, will give the most experience to our students and also will help them to be successful in the community. Now, as far as the Toastmasters are concerned, this will help them to develop a better understanding and maybe more inspiration seeing the growth and development of these students so that they can feel more inspired in their club. They can feel ready to come back to their club in a good leadership role, to bring their clubs to a higher and more exciting level. We would like to see outstanding success for both the students and the current members. The students overcoming their hesitation, their fear of speaking. We want them to leave the program with more ability, more confidence, and be able to go without a fear of speaking into the world and be successful and help our community to be successful. Okay, we also want to give them an understanding of the opportunities that are available in Toastmasters, which might inspire their growth and inspire their ability to, again, work in the community. We think that members, whether they're old or new, can be inspired by those students, inspired by their success and their growth in just a short amount of time. We hope that they will be able to go back and help other members in their club to be more committed, to feel more desire to fulfill the leadership roles in their club. And then, on top of all of that, that they can help to bring a greater unity and cohesiveness between all of the clubs in this area, in the Mobile area. Fellow Toastmasters, this is where you can help. We don't want to be tepid in our work here. We want to join as members. We need members. We need students. We are asking you to become those mentors. We are asking you to talk up Toastmasters. Bring friends. Bring neighbors. Bring strangers to the speechcraft. We need you to become a part of an inspiring, dynamic team of Toastmasters. Then, together, we can create a more vibrant Toastmasters community in Mobile. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Lawrence. That was actually really inspiring, and I'm excited to participate in any way I can on that. And I did not even know about speechcraft, and so it was kind of nice to learn about that as well, and how we have a way to introduce.
I do have a book if anyone wants to look at it. Sorry.
Having a nice way to introduce people to Toastmasters in maybe not quite such a formal setting as Toastmasters can be. Our second speaker tonight is Heather Trin. She'll be talking to us. Her speech is her 7th speech from the Confident Communicator Manual, which is about researching your topic. She's talking, the title of the speech is Doing Things for the Right Reasons, where we're going to learn why we do things and making sure we're doing them for the right reason. I'm assuming on that last part.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to try and not let anything be tepid here. First off, I want to ask you, why do you make the choices you make? Have you ever found yourself being really indecisive when making a decision? I don't know about all of you, but oftentimes I find myself being very scatterbrained. I don't know why, but repeatedly I run through different outcomes before eventually I make up my mind. I think it's important in times like these to remember why you got involved in a situation in the first place. I'll give you an example. As you likely know, I am very involved in music. In high school, I was literally given the award for the biggest band geek at our band big boy. And it was true. I was crazy about music, about bands. When other students would skip class to go hang out with their friends or to go out and eat somewhere, I would skip class to go practice in the band room. Transitioning from high school to college band was a whole nother story. Though I was excited, I found myself being unhappy in college marching band. It took a long time to realize it, but I eventually decided that I wasn't going to do band this next year. So why did I decide this? First, I looked at the reasons I wanted to be in band versus the reasons I didn't. It was easy to say that being in band was great because it can be fun, I get a scholarship, and I really love music. But it was hard to say that because as I thought about it more, it became clear that I wasn't in band anymore for the right reasons. I was unhappy with the way that band took much more of my time, and it was a lot more serious rather than fun, and I couldn't have a conversation with anyone without hearing a lot of gossip. It wasn't the band I had in high school. I wasn't in it for the right reason. It took a long time to come to that conclusion, but I eventually decided to try and just not continue justifying why I should stay in band and why I should justify being unhappy continually in band. I chose to let it go, and I chose to let it go for the right reason. Our ability to make choices define us as individuals. In reading on the concept of choice theory from psychologistworld.com, it's been suggested that a lot goes into the choices we make. Even though it can be easy to get tangled up in many influences and reasonings for the decisions we have, it's that the distinction comes that we can be aware of these influences and how they have an effect on us in the long run with every choice we make. Literally every choice we make. So if you ever find yourself struggling to make a decision, I suggest that you make a pros and cons list, and then when you make your list, identify the most important points on your pros and cons list. So the biggest pros and the biggest cons, and then ask yourself, do the biggest pros outweigh the biggest cons, or vice versa? I think that more often than not, people will find a way to justify what they're doing and the decisions they make in a situation. I think that more often than not, they'll settle for something. And I know I've done that. People will find ways to do that a lot of the time, but ultimately, I see this as being really unhealthy for oneself. And I think that if instead we really focus on the reasons that we do things and what will help us to grow as people, I think that the outcome will be for the better. Lastly, I don't let myself rely on the idea that I should do anything because maybe blank will happen. Honestly, I used to do that a lot, but if you do that, just think about it. Doing something like that, I think everybody's done it before, but what kind of life are you living when you base your decisions off of that? Though I know it's a luxury for me to say this now, at this point in my life, and that I haven't really come to terms with how the real world is, I'm pretty young and I don't have to face all of that, I still firmly believe that we should act on the things that we want to do. I know I wanted to be in band and I wanted to play music, but I didn't want everything else that came with it that I didn't have before, and it was clouding my passion for music. Sometimes things can be out of our control, but when you think about whether or not you're happy with the life you're living, and whether or not you're happy with the choices you make, and the reasons you make them, you have to ask yourself, how much of that is because of what you do and why you do it? Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Heather. I think it was really neat to learn a little bit about you as how you were in high school dealing with band and skipping class to practice instead of goofing off, like I think probably most of us in this room did. I was happy to hear not just making a list of pros and cons, but weighting that list to make it so that you can actually make a decision that will make you happier versus one that's just comparing which list is longer. I think that was very informative, so thank you for that as well. Our table topics master tonight is Maurice, and I'd like to turn the time over to him.
Fellow Toastmasters, time for our table topics. At this time, I'll ask for a volunteer. Okay, Cody. Okay, seems to be an easy question. It's kind of tepid, maybe. Are you happy with where you are in life and why? Are you happy with where you are in life and why?
So at this point in my life, I have just made a change. I've sold my house in Spanish Fort and I moved to Midtown Mobile. So I'm on Church Street and George, right there, kind of near Kitchen on George. So it's a little different. I don't have as much square footage, but I am 8 minutes away from work, which is awesome. No more Bayway traffic to fight. I can leave my house 8 minutes to work. If something I need to pick something up at the house I forgot, I can run home. No one even knows I'm gone. Pick up in the bathroom. So I can make it to my house that quick. So that's the main reason I did it. I wanted more time and to be a little more mobile and position myself if I want to make a move at some point in the future, not tie down to a house in Spanish Fort. So right now at this point, I'm pretty satisfied with where I'm at and I'm happy I made the move. Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, dear Cody. Do we have another volunteer? Okay, Heather. Okay, based on your current daily actions and routines, where would you expect to be in 5 years? Based on your current daily actions and routines, where would you expect to be in 5 years?
I don't really know where I'm going to be in 5 years. That's kind of a question that you get asked a lot, or probably not 5 years, they say something like 10 years. But if I'm thinking about 5 years from now, plans are probably like joining the military, but I don't know for sure on that. But I will say that I really do think about how I spend my time every day, like routines and stuff, and everything that I do, like daily stuff. And kind of my thing is that I'm really crazy about wasting time. Like, I don't try to waste time. I really don't like to waste time, and I always kind of feel kind of guilty about how I'm spending my time. I'm always wanting to learn stuff, but I feel like I'm not doing enough. But I think 5 years from now, if I work hard enough, I think I can learn more and build more skills like I want to. But some of them will be kind of valuable for work, I guess, because I should have a job in 5 years. It's not like in the food industry or something. But other stuff, like mostly that I want to learn is like how to ride a unicycle and juggle and play the harmonica and stuff. So maybe in 5 years, I'll be really good at that. Mr. Tompkins.
Okay, interesting set of goals.
Right? Straight performance.
Yeah.
Because you can't join the circus.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's right.
Why?
Shut down.
Shut down.
Now, what about the smaller circuses? They still got the smaller circuses,
Not
right?
that I would want to be in a circus.
Yeah. Okay. Next volunteer. Okay, Julius. Okay, Julius, what is your greatest strength and your greatest weakness?
My greatest strength and my greatest weakness is my greatest strength is I don't want to be tepid. Because if I was tepid, then I would take away from my greatest weakness, which is sometimes I am tepid. But my greatest strength is my love to learn. I love to learn, and because I do love to learn, it allows me to be able to do a lot of different things as far as my health, as far as my relationships, because the more you learn, the more you are able to be better in different areas. But like Heather was saying, a lot of times you can hoard a lot of information. Just get information, just continue to get information. But eventually, at some point, you have to do something with that information that you have. So you have to be, my greatest strength is I like to hoard information, gain information. That becomes my greatest weakness because I'm constantly trying to get more information as opposed to trying to actually do some of the information that I'm doing. Like being here in this meeting. This is a good opportunity to learn how to become a speaker. But if I'm not actually speaking, I'm learning a lot of skills on how to be a good speaker, but I'm not necessarily being in a position to speak. So a lot of times your greatest strength can be your greatest weakness. Mr. Tuck.
And we'll do 2 more, then we'll move on to evaluation. Another volunteer? Okay, you yield. What do we have here? Okay, this is not a tepid. It's actually a weird question. If you don't want to do this, then I'll go to another question. What makes you weird? Do you want to do that? Or you want me to pick something else? Yeah.
Weird. Because most time, I can just come here. Came here last days, a lot of things are different in China, so we make a lot of weird, make me feel weird. For example, the first time the police car follow me, and the flash, I don't know, stop. I just have to keep driving. And not me, my friend, with my friend. And the police car called 607, I forgot. The car blocked us in the traffic intersection and asked us, why are we chasing you 2 miles and you're not stop?
Okay.
And my friend said, because we don't know, we saw you have a duty, so we gave a line to you, but they still follow us. So kind of these things we do a lot, so make us weird.
Okay, one more. Okay, Thomas. Okay, what good comes from suffering?
All right. Okay.
Good can come from suffering. It was about 10-ish years ago. This year I re-entered college after taking 2 years off. And at the time I was engaged to be married. So the two of us getting married in college meant that with 3 years left for me and 4 years left for her, meant that there was a lot of suffering in front of us as we both tried to pay for a place to live, food to eat, and still pass classes. But the greatest part of that suffering is it's now, a decade later, graduated from college myself and my wife, both of us with good jobs, noticeably better incomes than what we had back then. We don't feel like we have to have more all the time. Because as long as we're not there, like we were in college, life's great. And so it gives this nice perspective that you can use throughout the rest of your life. And that's the best side of suffering, I guess I would say. Mr. President.
And that concludes our table topics. And I will relinquish the lectern back to the Toastmasters.
Thank you, Maurice, for those thought-provoking topics. I'll now turn the time over to Justin.
Thank you.
Fellow Toastmasters. So I'll be doing the general evaluation, and I'll also be doing the evaluation of this first speech. which was Lawrence's high performance
Leadership.
leadership. Thank you. Okay, so Lawrence's delivery, it was excellent as usual. I didn't hear any ahs, ums. It was very enthusiastic, lots of hand gestures. There was some walking around, engaged the listeners very well. But regarding the specifics on the sharing your vision evaluation, how effectively did the speaker describe his or her vision? Lawrence described his vision for Speechcraft very clearly. He was very enthusiastic and talked about the benefits it had to the members in the community and the students themselves, of course. Was the vision stated in a positive manner? Yes. Lawrence's delivery was very enthusiastic, very positive. He listed several positive justifications for Speechcraft and how it would improve things for everyone involved. How did the speaker tie the vision to the needs and wants of the listeners? So he did this very well, talked about how the community would benefit, the overall Mobile area would benefit from the improved leadership skills of the people, of the students themselves, and then how the teachers, the members that join this program would benefit from watching the students improve and watching them progress and the satisfaction that you have in that. So very good speech, Lawrence. I was glad I got the opportunity to listen to that. So now we'll go to our second evaluator, and that would be Ewing.
It's my first time to do it. It's not hard for me. After speech, the first one is how will the speaker's topic apply to the audience? She asked a question to the audience and applied her topic. Second one is what topical will research. I think it's yes. How well did the speaker support her main points? Yes, I think he tells us how made the decision, gave the sample about how to make the decision to join the band and how to make a decision to leave it. Always reasonable. With the support material appropriation for the point made? I think yes. You give a lot of examples for talking about this point. Did the speaker vary the types of the support material? I think yes. How clear was the speaker's purpose? Yes, I think it is very much clear for me. Was the speech effectively organized? Yes, of course. Did the speaker take advantage of body language and vocal variety? I think it's the body, use a lot of body language. What could the speaker have done differently improve the speech? I don't know, because I'm a Catholic. I think it should be it. What did you like about the speech? I like the whole part, especially about the make a decision to join the band. Yeah, that's
Thank you, Ewing. Tell me if I'm getting that pronunciation reasonably appropriate.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
Ewing?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's okay.
Well, it's one of those.
Yes, that's okay.
I'd like to be better with that.
Oh, that's
Very
okay.
close, not correct, but
But
very
no,
close.
yeah.
All right.
Most
put you on the
people
spot there.
just pronouncing it like that.
Okay, so moving on with the rest of the evaluations, Cody will be doing the timers report.
Okay. Timers report for tonight. So Lawrence speech, he had a 7 to 10 minute speech tonight, and he went 9 minutes and 39 seconds. So it's good, stayed under the 10 minute mark. For Heather, she had a 5 to 7 minute speech, and her speech was 5 minutes and 57 seconds. So good job. For the table topics, I went 57 seconds. Heather went 1 minute and 31 seconds. Julius had 1 minute and 25 seconds. Ying, you had 1 minute and 4 seconds. And Thomas 1 minute and 16 seconds. For the evaluations, the first evaluator went 1 minute and 20 seconds. And Ying, as the second evaluator, went 2 minutes and 45 seconds. That concludes the timers report for tonight.
Great, thanks, Cody. Very thorough. Mark, may we have the grammarian report?
Yes, if I can help you. So I think we did very well tonight. I have people use the word of the day, tepid. So we were not tepid in our use of tepid. Most of our speakers, I couldn't find anything grammatically incorrect, filler words with either of our prepared speeches. So I thought that was very good. A couple of things that I don't sound, it doesn't sound right to me, and that's how I do Marion. If it doesn't sound right, then I just make a note of it. Thomas, you used the phrase 10-ish years ago, and that doesn't sound right to me. Julius, in your table topics, you seem to have run-on sentences, so I was hoping you would like complete the sentence, go on to the next. It seemed to all run. Justin, you tend to use the word so as a filler word sometimes. Thomas, I got 2 ums with you. Heather, the word like. You want, and not during your speech, but after your speech in the table topics, you're using the word like sort of as a filler word. And Ewing, I counted 2 uhs. So overall, I think we did fantastic tonight. So good job.
Okay, good job, Mark. Very impressive picking all of that up through a connection like this. I can't imagine how awkward it must be trying to plug into this meeting virtually like that. So that's fantastic. So I'll be doing the general evaluation of the meeting. So a couple of comments regarding that. Did the meeting start on time? We had a bit of a delay in the beginning. I wasn't here at the very beginning of the meeting to see how that proceeded. I was a couple of minutes late myself, but the meeting started promptly after the few-minute extension that we had at the beginning. One thing I noticed, I think it's important at the start of the meeting to let the people responsible for the rules to explain the rules. I think that's just another opportunity to have a chance to speak and get to interact and be put on the spot to get a little explanation of what you're doing. It's a small opportunity, but I think it's something. The transitions between the speeches were smooth. The lectern was occupied almost the entire time. One small transition I noticed you, Wing, is you left the lectern before I got up when I was transitioning over during the general evaluation. So that's a small thing. On the table topics, were the topics appropriate? Yes, they were short, they were basic, and they provided a lot of good insight about the people speaking. I love those kinds of broad topics that are seemingly straightforward to answer, but give you a lot of insight into the person, personality, and what's happening in their lives. Those are the most interesting part of the meeting, in my opinion. So great meeting overall. Thank you.
We'll now have our educational overview brought to us by Julius.
I was speaking from Greg Valentine's 52 speaking tips. This would be speaking tip number 12. Come out with a bang. Don't be tepid. No way. How do most speakers start their speeches? What are some of the first things you usually hear them say? Well, average speakers start out by saying, I'm glad to be here on this wonderful occasion, or I want to thank the people who invited me. It's such a great day here. Do you know what the audience is thinking at this point? So what? Who cares? This is going to be average at best. And these are all what I call unpleasant pleasantries. They're definitely not the way you want to start a conversation or a presentation. World champion of speaking, Darren LaCroix, 2009 world speaker says, look, we don't need a weather report. Most of us just came from outside. So we have to understand that within the first 30 seconds, our audience will realize whether or not they want to hear more. The absolute first thing you say is critical. It can break the ice or it can put your audience on ice. You choose. Here's the real key to a strong first 30 seconds. Do something unexpected, but not uncalled for. What I mean is you don't want to do something that's just bananas, just in the name of being unexpected. Instead, you just want to make sure you come out with a bang. That means you must remove those unpleasant pleasantries. By far, the 3 best ways to start a speech are the following: a story, a question, a curious statement. And that's all for now. Mr. Toastmasters.
Thank you, Julius, for that insightful educational moment for us to be able to all start our speeches better every time. I will now relinquish the lectern back to our president, Maurice, for awards and closing out the meeting.
All right. Thank you there, Mr. Toastmaster. That was an excellent job. And also the evaluator, the speakers, and all participants at the lectern. There are no awards to be presented tonight, but as I understand, within, I guess, a few months or so, we will have a few awards to give out or to present. Vice President of Education. Yes.
One of the things I'd like to mention, if you get onto the Easy Speak site and go into your profile, you can actually set up a goal to reach your next level of education. So if you do that, then as you move along, you can see, well, I plan on getting my competent communicator, which is what most of you are still working on. I can get that by whatever date it is you want to make that next point. And so that will help you to be inspired.
Okay, and while you're at it, the agenda for next week.
I have a little bit of an agenda here. We have an educational overview by Tammy. I don't know who's going to do invocation and pledge. The first speaker is going to be Thomas. The second speaker is Luke at the moment. I don't know, sometimes he's out of town, so we have to see. Cody can be the general evaluator. Okay, Kedrick is first evaluator, Heather is second evaluator. We have Maurice giving awards, etc. Jennifer, I have as grammarian. Again, I'm not sure what she's going to do. I have David as table topics. Paul, I think he's no longer coming so often, so that may have to change. He was the timer. And Ewing, can you be the Toastmaster? Okay, good. So that's what we have on our agenda for next week.
Okay.
She agreed to it, man.
Of course that's how they.
Okay. And,
Okay.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
okay,
Thank you.
now I'll try to remind myself to try to contact Kedrick and see, try to put just a little fire, a little flame under him to see if he's gonna come back.
So I actually have a question real quick before we close. Since we're doing elections next week, does the person have to be present
To be elected?
to be elected next week?
Not necessarily,
Okay.
because when are we gonna do our, when are we going to actually, are we immediately going to put them in place?
I think it was for transitions.
I told him to do it, I set it up to start July 1st. I mean, we can,
Okay,
I mean,
so July
they
1st
can go to
when
the
actual
current.
transition
Yeah, they go to
is
the
going
current
to happen.
person in office and
That's
get
just
tips.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's more than likely we're not gonna have it.
Oh, we're totally nominated.
Right.
We can always do that.
Right. Okay, if there is nothing else, it is 7:41. This meeting is adjourned.
Very good.
What's your
Very good.
information on it?
It's Kedrick, my position.
I really like your tweet.
So
I'll just-
I saw that